Okay, so if you just got here, Roy, you might want to grab yourself a piece of blank paper, okay? James, you want to grab yourself a piece of paper? Evan, you want to grab yourself a piece of paper? So the title we're putting at the top is Protein Synthesis. And it's made of two parts. There is the transcription and there is translation. If you're interested, you can abbreviate transcription as TXN. You don't have to know that, but you can. And you can abbreviate translation as TLN. Transcription, translation. Do you guys know what the word synthesis means? Synthesis means making. And the whole process would look like this. We start with the DNA. And what do we have to make before we can make a protein? Chat with your partner about that. Before we can, like, the DNA, we don't just go DNA and then protein magic. There's something in between the DNA and the protein. See if you can chat with your partner and remember that. Okay, I'm hearing a lot of discussions that are going way more into depth than I was ready to go just yet. I'm only going to write two more words on this line. Okay, so the DNA is going to be read and it's going to be turned into RNA. And if you want to, you can specify that as what type of RNA? mRNA. DNA goes to RNA, goes to protein. And the reason I'm doing this is just like the big picture before we get into details, okay? What is this step here called where the DNA code is read and we make an RNA copy? That is called transcription. You can just do TXN. Yeah, absolutely. And the second step where we take the RNA code and we make a protein, that is called translation. Sorry, I couldn't hear that. Yeah, transcription is making a copy just in RNA form, and translation is taking that code, the three-letter code, and turning those into a string and moving on. Different sections of RNA will come off different sections of DNA. So somewhere in your 46 chromosomes, 46 strands of DNA that you have in your body, each one of them has a ton of genes on them. Okay, and so yeah, all the DNA in your, all the RNA comes from DNA. Okay. So that's the big picture. DNA goes to RNA, goes to protein. And now we are going to draw a picture of the whole process. And it's going to be a simple drawing because guess what? Ms. Spence cannot draw, okay? So it's going to be really, really simplified, okay? So I'm just going to give people a minute to finish off anything they need to here, and then I'm going to go so I've got an entire screen ready to draw on. Okay. And again, if I go too quickly at any point, if I shove something out of the way and you're not ready yet, just let me know, okay? All right. So now we're going to draw a cell. And in the cell, actually I should make that bigger because we're gonna have to draw stuff in it. The nucleus is not normally this big, but I'm gonna make the nucleus quite large so that we can see what's happening inside it. So that right there is the nucleus. Is there anything recognizable inside the nucleus? There is DNA, but we actually, if we were to look at a cell under the microscope, we would not be able to see the DNA. Do you remember the DNA we got out of the strawberries? When you looked at it, could you see a double helix? No. And in fact, if you were to look at it under a microscope, you still could not see a double helix. You would not see even those lovely, you know, the chromosome shapes that they sort of show you that look like X's? You would not see that either. Okay, those only take place when the cell is getting ready to divide. Okay, but you wouldn't see that. You would just see nothing because DNA is so thin You can't even see it. It looks like nothing. But what you would see is a dark blob. Okay, that's a dark blob. And does anyone know what that dark blob is called? That's the nucleolus. And now inside the nucleus, even though in reality we can't see it, we are going to draw a piece of DNA. Take a moment and watch how I do this, because now watch what I'm going to do. And you notice one of these is longer, yes? Looks like a Christmas card. Oh my God, I erased the whole thing. Control Z, Control Z. There we go, okay. All right, and we can draw what goes across from one side of the ladder to the other. What are these things? Yes. Starts with a B. Those are the bases, okay? So I'm just drawing in some bases. If you're really lazy and you just want to draw lines straight across, you can, but ooh, I should have made that bigger. Oh, well, that's okay. And the reason I should have made it bigger is that I need to now draw an RNA copy in there. So I'm actually going to take this little bit here and blow it up. Okay, that little bit there, I'm going to blow it up over here so that you can see what's going on. Hello. There we go. Okay, so I've got my little DNA code there. And you can see I've got A, C, G, T, T, A, G. Okay, and like I said, if this gets a little bit too much for you at any point, I will have printouts of this available, right? So. Now, this of course is the DNA, but part of it has come open. You've got your strand and part of it has come apart. It's opened up. And so we can have an RNA copy get made, okay? So this is mRNA, RNA. The mRNA is going to have a complementary code. What does complementary mean? Perfectly matching. Okay, so now if we have a complementary code on that mRNA, if it's complementary to the DNA, and my DNA says A, C, G, T, T, A, G, what would our RNA say? A goes with U, okay? Which would actually mean that our DNA would be a T, okay? But I'm not gonna write it because it's gonna get a little too crowded, okay? C goes with G, G goes with C, T goes with A, T goes with A, and A goes with U, and G goes with C. Are you looking at your phone? Alrighty. So there we have our complementary code, that's our mRNA. So now the mRNA is out in the nucleus. Where's it going to go from there? It's going to go out of the nucleus, and it's going to go out through that is a nuclear pore. Okay, they're all over the place. I'm only going to draw two. So out goes the RNA. I did that too small. Let's try that again. How many do I have? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay. I've got 9 little dashes on the top there. I've added a couple of bases on there because that way we can show actually 3 things, okay? Now, if we were to actually draw a ribosome, would they be big or would they be small? They'd actually be small. We would have a top part and a little bottom part. A top part and a little bottom part. Okay, these would be ribosomes. But if I draw them that big, will you be able to see what's happening? No, you'll be like, what's happening? I have no idea. So we are going to draw a ribosome that is much, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, bigger, okay? This is a blown up ribosome. Oops, I should label it over here because I got to draw stuff on top of it. Now, who comes in to that big blown up ribosome and what does it bring? The tRNA comes in, and I'm going to just draw the anticodon, okay? How many letters is a codon and how many letters is an anticodon? 3 letters, okay? And don't worry, we'll label codons and anticodons later as well. So we would have a T, and who goes with G? C. And who goes with C? G. Oh, it's not a T. Oh my gosh, what's wrong with me? That should be an A. Ah. Okay. This is not really what it looks like, but that's okay. Okay, it kind of looks like that. Even if you just have a big blob, even if you just draw a rectangle there, that's totally, totally fine, okay? Yeah. So we have this lovely little thing. And on the tippy top, we have a, oh, it should be on the other side. Whoops, ah! Everything. Hold that. There we go. Okay. All right. On the tippy top, we have a, what is that? That is an amino acid. And I'm just going to call it an AA for now because I don't have time to, or not time, I don't have space to write it all. AA just means amino acid. What's the green thing called? That's tRNA. The tRNA, what's its job? It transfers the amino acids from the cytoplasm into the ribosome so that a protein can be made. Okay, so there's our tRNA. What should I be drawing here? Another tRNA with its anticodon, okay? So who is our anticodon in this case? What are the letters for the anticodon? I have an A, so it's going to be U, and then U, and then A. And if you're like, I don't want to draw that whole thing, you can just be like, okay, here's a little blob and it's got things sticking off the top, and off the top comes an amino acid. The actual shape of the tRNA is not that important. And this time off the top, I'm going to have maybe a square amino acid. Oopsie, I meant that to be red. And then finally, coming in from out in the cytoplasm somewhere, we're going to have another tRNA with an anticodon that's going to match up with these three here. So that's going to be a G and a C and a U. Okay, and maybe that one is a triangle shape, let's say. What's that triangle shape? That triangle shape is an amino acid. Now what that's going to look like, sort of without as much detail, right, is we would have our mRNA, we would have our ribosome, and then coming out the top of the ribosome, we would have amino acids, and they would start forming a chain and turn into a protein. I can't draw this very well, but you know, we get the general idea, right? Am I ever going to have you draw this entire thing on a test? No. I might have you label some bits, but I feel like that could take you like the whole class just to draw that one thing if you had to, you know what I mean? So unless you're like, I would like to draw it, and then you can just be like, I will just do that. Instead of writing the test, I will just draw freehand this whole thing. Okay, that would be totally fine. So this process that's happening up in the nucleus what's this process called? Where we're making the mRNA. Making the mRNA, that is transcription. If we are reading the mRNA, and assembling the amino acids into a protein, that's translation. Okay. And I think at this point you could, yesterday's homework was page 67, 68. And then today's homework is going to be 69, 70, and 71. Okay, and it sounds like 3 pages, but it's really only 2 pages because 70 only has half a page, and then 71 is half a page is just pictures. Okay, so there's 2 pages and then 2 pages. So if you didn't finish yesterday's homework, you could start with that. If you did finish yesterday's homework, you could do today's homework. Although this is a weekend. What you should be doing is you should be starting over the weekend because you have a little more time. I want you to start making a list of vocabulary words. Oh, and you're going to be starting to think about your cheat sheet that you're going to make for your test. If anyone would like the big sheet of paper today, or you would like blank sheet of paper today, the smaller, 2 smaller sheets, you can have that today, but I can also leave that for next week if you want. Yes? You can have 2 pieces of paper this side from back, or if you prefer, having a great big piece of paper like this. So it's up to you. All right? You are allowed to use it on a test. Yes, absolutely. Okay? So, whatever you can put on here, it's good. Now, if you are typing it out, the only thing I'm going to say is that don't just copy and paste because you won't learn anything from copying and pasting. If you're going to have a diagram, draw the diagram. Unless you're a person where that's really hard for you to draw the diagram, in which case I already know that, and you will have special dispensation from me to not draw the diagram. But if you haven't talked to me about it, make sure you're drawing your own diagrams. Okay? Because copying a picture is not going to help you learn anything. Okay? Half of the process of this is so that you remember it. So on the test, you really don't even have to look very much because you'll have thought about it so much, right? So anyway, I'll put this paper here if you would like. I'll put out some blank white paper, like just the regular size if you would like. Your cheat sheet can also include diagrams, okay? You're going to start collecting those. Anyone want to print out of this? Anyone want to print out? Yeah? Okay.